I don't believe in, it's not that I don't believe it. It's just I hear a lot of people saying, well, you got to read a book a week or a book a day or a book a minute. You know, everyone says these kinds of things. And that has just never been my way. It's never been my disposition to do that. I've always read very few books, but I make them my own. I internalize that book, and then it becomes a way of life for me. You know, I remember once I was studying Shakespeare because somebody told me, it was Al Pacino actually, he said, if you want to be the greatest stage performer of all time, you're going to have to play 5 roles. And those 5 roles were all written by Shakespeare. I can't remember offhand I know one was Hamlet, I know one was King Lear, I know one was Henry V. I can't remember the other 2. But I remember I was in this bookstore once just poring over Shakespeare plays. Those plays that he said that I had to play if I wanted to be the greatest stage performer of my time, right? And this lady sitting next to me was like a scholar of Shakespeare, and I was a novice, I was a beginner. And she goes, are you just beginning to read Shakespeare? I'm like, yeah, it's amazing stuff, you know, if I could figure out what the heck he's saying. And after a while, I started to figure out, and she said, oh my gosh, I'm so jealous that this is new to you, that you're just reading Shakespeare and learning Shakespeare. What you have in front of you is the rest of your life to get into what this guy was writing about 500 years ago and actually embody what he was writing that long ago. I remember that being huge to me, and she was 100% right, this scholar, because that Shakespeare has meant so much to me, and I've taken on those characters that he wrote so long ago and really made them a part of every speech that I do, every performance that I do. Find those books, those ones, and it's not a lot, those ones that mean everything to you. Not that mean everything to everyone else. What do they mean to you? If you do that, you'll start to embody those things, and you'll read them over and over and over again. And people go, well, that's boring, Bo, doing the same thing. No, it's not. Because you're always evolving. You're changing. You're getting older. You're getting wiser. You're becoming a mentor. And these things change over time. Like when I read Henry V the first time 20 years ago, it means much different to me today, 20 years later. Same is true for you. I love books that really attack and go after the status quo. Like they go after the culture that we're in. So if you're in a culture, right, and you feel it and you want to go with the culture, I love the books that go counter to the culture. That go counter and have a different perspective. Because it's really easy to go with the culture. But if you do go with the culture, you're really a lamb. You're like a flock of sheep just following along. You can't lead. Look for books that go counter. I remember this one book, The Goldmine Effect. The reason that it jumped out at me so much was it went counter to how our culture goes. And it was the heading of one chapter that got me. And it was this. If the chapter was named this. If you are not pushing your children, you're an irresponsible parent. Oh, no, I butchered it. You're irresponsible if you're not pushing your children. You're irresponsible if you're not pushing your children. So in our culture today, right, first thing everybody says is, I just let my kids do what they want. I don't want to push them. I'm not a pushy parent. Or I let my kid play basketball because he loves it. It's not that I'm pushing him into it. Well, I love the title of that chapter because it's a play on that. It says, if you're not pushing your kids, you're irresponsible. I like things that make you stop, take a breath, and go, wait, did he just say that? Did this author just say that? And then I read it and I go, wow, I was right all along. I was wondering why the culture was saying you can't push your kids. I was wondering why I was trying not to push my kids. you know? And then it just taught me, like, I was right. My instincts, my guttural, primal instincts are right. Yours are right too. So you got to find those writers that go counter to the culture so that you can have confidence that you're on the right path. Do that. Find the things that go counter. Also, Shakespeare can never go wrong. Look at the characters that inspire you, whether it's General Patton, whether it's an athlete, whether it's a guy like Steve Pressfield. Just take small bites of what they do each day, and that'll right your ship.